Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of ICDU Copy, the Atticus new limited edition podcast honoring each season of Stranger Things leading up to season 5. I'm your host, Tamar Wachi, and I'm here with
Thomas Warshaw.
And we're going to be talking about season 2. I'm going to start off with, what are your favorite moments from season 2?
My favorite moments?
Yeah.
My favorite part of the whole season was meeting 8 and, like, the crew. Like, I really like that whole, like, opening little thing. Like, I think they teased it in the end of season 1, and I remember that was, like, what I was most excited for. I was like, oh, my gosh, there's more of them. And, like, I really like that character. I think that's super cool.
Do you think, okay, I saw this theory that...
Most definitely. There's no way 8's not going to be in season 5.
So in season 4, there's this moment, when Dustin and the rest of the Hellfire Club are playing their D&D campaign.
Yeah.
And Dustin cannot kill Vecna with a roll of 11.
There it is.
At the same time, they're cross-cutting to Hawkins High, where Lucas is playing a really important basketball game. Wearing the number 8. So the theory is that 11 will need 8 to defeat Vecna in season 5. Because, like, in the D, symbolism and stuff.
Yeah, I like this theory. I think it's absolutely true that 8 will be in season 5. I don't know about I think it's too easy that it's like, oh, 11 can't do it, so they bring in 8. Like, I get that. I think it makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if that were true, but I feel like the Duffer Brothers are smarter than that, and they're not, like, that's so on the nose. You roll an 11, and then you can't kill Vecna. It's like, duh, right? Like, I feel like they already did that in season 1 with, like, oh, we can't defeat the Demogorgon. Like, I don't think they're going to redo. There's some other layer that I think we're missing, but they're definitely bringing back 8.
I also agree with the theory. I thought, like, maybe it's just, like, you see something on social media and you automatically believe it to be true because you were shown it, but I thought it just makes a lot of sense, and I rewatched the scene and how they cut back and forth between the two scenes, and I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense.
No, I believe
that's gonna happen.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think with a lot of the theories, because there's so many, they all make sense, but they can't all be true, and so I think we have to be somewhat skeptical. Like, we're not predicting the whole season 5. Like, there's no way. I just don't believe it. It's not Shrek, right? Like,
and like you just said, like, the Duffer Brothers are really smart. Like, they
know what they're doing.
They're plotting stuff that we don't aren't even things that aren't even on our radar yet.
I do like that people are going back to the previous seasons. Like, they're not just looking at season 4 and saying, what's this saying for season 5? I like that people are going back to the early seasons, because it's clear that they have been building up to whatever we're going to see in season 5 since the first season. What that actually means, I guess, only time will tell.
Okay, so Will is going to have powers in season 2. Because
Season 5.
Will's going to have powers in season 5 because there's that one episode that's called Will the Wise in season 5 when they dropped, like, the season titles. And when he's in D&D, he's Will the Wise. And then, like, in D&D, there's, like, this role called the Seer, or, like,
Yeah.
Which is
Will.
What he is.
Yeah, I just, like, I love looking at that and saying, all right, Will the Wise, Will's going to have powers. Right. But at the same time, like...
Is that too on the nose for you?
No. Where I give the Duffer Brothers all their praise, like is in their subversion of expectations. But at the same time, I've talked about the cookie-cutter Stranger Things. I think it's really likely that they're going to fail at that. Not likely. I just think there's a world where they failed that, and just Will is always going to be the guy who's still possessed and still kidnapped and still, like, he's the Will the Wise because he knows what the Mind Flayer's doing, but he's not doing it actively. He's being, like, that connection's still there because, I mean, look at The Spy or whatever. Like, that wasn't him having powers. He was possessed in season 4, I guess. I always get annoyed with Stranger Things when they do the same things over and over, and there's nothing that's convinced me yet that season 5 won't be another, like, copy and paste, which I feel like some of the later seasons of Stranger Things were. As great as they were, I'm not coming on here to bash the show. That's just my biggest critique of it.
I think it's valid to, like, critique the repetition and how that can feel bland as a viewer, because I think eventually you can kind of start to predict, like, when Will is feeling those, that thing before he goes,
wait, guys,
I can still feel.
Or he doesn't say it, and it's
Or
like,
he
at this
doesn't say
point,
it.
you should know to say it.
Right,
You've
yeah.
nearly been killed 8 times by not saying it. Speak up. And
Yeah,
I think a lot of
sure.
that is just trying to make you be like, oh, no, and like, sorry, I
No, and it adds to the tension for sure, and the suspense of it all, especially when he doesn't say it because you feel like it should be there, and like he's feeling it anyway.
I mean, this is actually, I've been wanting to bring this up. What made season 1 so great, and even season 2, like, really good, is because you had no idea who the enemy was. You didn't know what was going to happen, especially in season 1. It was a mystery. It was like this cool 70s sci-fi mystery. And now, coming out of the last 2 seasons and going into season 5, I feel like there's now so much lore, which for me is like great, cool, but I was someone who was really into the mystery, and it sort of makes me upset that I feel like we're not going to have, like, it's not a mystery anymore. It's not a mystery. It's just like we know they're going to have another big bad. We know it's going to be this big battle. We know they're just going to be more powerful, and we know Elle's going to struggle in this, and Will's going to have, this problem. Like, which in some ways, because we care so much, we pay so much attention because the show's so great. But on the other hand, it's like, I feel like we've lost the plot in, like, it's not a mystery anymore. Maybe it was never meant to be a mystery, and that's fine, and whatever. But for me, I loved the mystery, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. Like, that's what the show was, and that's not really what the show is anymore.
I agree. Like, I loved the mystery of season 1 and 2, but I also really, like, nothing's going to take away that season 3 was the best season. No one can strip me of that.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
I think season 1 is just a perfect season, and I think, like, it sort of tapers off like in a linear fashion from there.
Season 3 had the best action. It, like, had such great development with its characters, I think. I have to pause and not rant about season 3 because I need to talk about that in the next episode.
Yeah.
But, okay, so putting a pin in that, going back to favorite moments of season 2.
Yeah.
I really, the scene where Bob is piecing together all of Will's crayon drawings on, like, the hundreds of pieces of paper and then pasting them all around the house. And then Bob's like, that's Lover's Lake. And that's this street, and that's this street.
It's a map.
And I'm like, go, Bob,
Yeah,
freaking newbie.
That was awesome. Like, that's the mystery. That's the uncovering the mystery that I think is, like, the best parts of Stranger Things.
It was so good. I love Bob Newby. Yeah. Okay, I feel guilty that his death didn't bother me that much because he was only around for 1 season, and I feel like because we felt so much of Will's angst, like, we didn't really get to appreciate how much his being there mattered, and how much him being there for Joyce mattered, and really what Will wanted all of season 2 was just to not be treated differently, and Bob's the only character that actually did that and fulfilled that for him. Yeah. Even though he was around for such a brief time. He's a great character, and I love, and, like, season 2 would not have been season 2 without Bob because they wouldn't have been able to find out about, like, the path and the hubs underground, like, under that farm, and then they wouldn't have been able to lit it up and everything. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think, like, that, what season 2, we have Bob. We have this, like, it's almost the same as season 1 where it was like he's the Mike of season 2. He's the person who's like, let's figure things out, right? Like, obviously everybody's figuring things out on season 2 because we're a little bit more into it, but there's still that great little, like, detective work, and that tapers off and that kind of disappears. And I feel like going into season 5, what it more is it's more of like a battle. It's more action, and it's more about, like, fighting off the upside down and figuring out what's going to happen when it takes over the world or whatever. However, like, they're going to keep escalating, and I think, like, that's kind of a shame that it had to keep one-upping the previous season. Like, the Demogorgon was terrifying, but now that's, like, nothing. It's like we have this crazy, like, I think there's a weird power creep in our villains, which I'm worried about. Like, I don't want to talk about season 4 at all, but there's things in season 4 that sort of imply that it's just going to get so exorbitant, so big, and such this huge thing that I wonder if that, like, takes away from some of the charm, right?
One of my favorite things about season 2 is that we get the kickoff of the Mind Flayer. I think the Mind Flayer is a scarier villain than Vecna.
100%, and that's why I think the Mind Flayer is probably the real villain.
Yeah, Do you think that Vecna is being completely controlled by the Mind Flayer?
I don't want to go there, but I kind of want to go there. Like, I feel a fear of saying that because I think it could be completely wrong. But
if you think it.
But, like, I do kind of think it.
Okay.
Like, I just think there has been nothing in the show that has scaled the power of the Mind Flayer. We have no idea. And if anything, there's, like, too many hints that it's more powerful than we think. Like, for example, the fact that there's still a connection with Will in the end of season 4.
Yeah.
Right? That's huge. How much control it had in season 2 throughout the whole thing. I think, like, the only reason we just sort of take for granted that Vecna is the one in control is because, like, okay, we shaped it. But, like, that's it? That's all we have to say that Vecna's in control? Like, I don't know. I don't think so. So, you say Dustin's your favorite character.
He is.
One of the great parts of season 2, I think, was Steve and Dustin's relationship. That really, like, coming out, of course, that is built on in later seasons. But, like, it sort of starts, I think, really in season 2 that, like, they're a duo. What do you think's going to happen to the Steve and Dustin crew? Are you on a Steve is dead train? Is that...
If either of them die, you're not going to see me. Like, I'm going to be done.
But don't you think that's exactly the kind of thing that the Duffer Brothers know and the Duffer Brothers would do? Is kill Dustin or Steve?
There are three things that make me think that Steve's going to die, even though I desperately don't want it to happen. Number one, I think Dustin's alive because he's been such, like, a happy-go-lucky character. And he's so bright and funny and positive
that's the kind of character
time.
they would kill. If they're going to kill someone from the party.
That's the kind of character that they're going to make live with the grief of Eddie and Steve's death, especially without a father figure in his life.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that's something that could happen. We see Dustin, like, sobbing into Steve's chest in one of the season 5 previews. That could be Eddie's grief. That could be, like, a near-death experience because they're both, like, kind of bloody in that scene. You can see in the shot.
Yeah, it could be a hero Steve moment. Like, if Steve's gonna die, he's gonna go down as a hero. We know that. It's gonna be. Steve's my favorite character. Just need to put that out there.
Steve's my second favorite character.
Okay, you win.
He's up there. Another thing that makes me think that Steve could die, and I only think, like, this is applicable to either Dustin or Steve dying, but I don't think Dustin's gonna die. So, in season 3, when they're unboxing that, like, radioactive, they think, mystery fluid in the Russian elevator, and Steve's like, stop, like, don't go in the box, like, with me, because only Steve was going to do it. And Dustin goes, if you die, I die. And it's like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you can't put that kind of foreshadowing all the way back in season 3. Anyway, so that, like, made me messed up. And then when Steve was talking to Nancy in the RV in season 4 about his dreams of having 6 little nuggets and, being in an RV and touring the country, 6 nuggets, Max, Elle, Dustin, Lucas, Mike, Will. Like, he already has 6 kids. He already has that life that he described.
And they're probably going to go tour the country because Hawkins is gone. Whatever. We don't need to talk about it.
Anyway.
That's too much.
Massive foreshadowing. Humongous foreshadowing. I really don't want Steve to die, but I think he could.
Can I add a name to the mix?
Go for it.
Jonathan Byers.
I
think I hate to say it, it's Jonathan or Steve. One of them is dying in
really?
season 5. 100%. I think
feel like we've kind of broken that, like, competition between the two a little bit.
I think they're the two, not competition and, like,
okay.
I think, like, story-wise, just thinking through, like, the patterns of Stranger Things, and maybe this is me succumbing to my it's all cookie cutter. I think, like, one of them would make the most sense because I think it's a stretch that they'll kill someone in the party, like, in terms of, like, the core 4.
I really think Lucas is the least likely to die.
Lucas,
and I think
Mike,
that's because
Will, Dustin, I think they're going to survive the season.
Do you think Erica is going to play a big part in season 5? I think she will.
Yeah.
Because they've been building up her aura and, her character importance even from season 2. And, like, especially when she joins the Hellfire Club, I think that's kind of foreshadowing, like she's joined the party.
Yeah.
She also was a huge part of the operation at the Krill house in season 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's going to be a really important character, and I don't think like her brother dying is going to be like huge character development for her.
Yeah, so I think that's lazy. Like
I think it's lazy too.
Yeah, if you want to make Erica a good character, you leave Lucas alive because any other option's kind of dumb, right?
I agree.
It's like I want to bring up a death.
Go for it.
That is heavily connected to season 2. In fact, I think it's like the biggest foreshadowing out of season 2 is the end when we close the gate, right?
Sure.
Elle closes the gate, which is the biggest gate we had seen so far up into the show, and she's incapacitated for a very long period of time, nearly kills her.
Yeah.
In that, very clearly, that's like the biggest thing out of season 2 is it very clearly establishes Eleven's power.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we had the whole training arc with 8 sort of that comes up a little like sort of tangentially to season 2, but like either way that's established, and the whole ending of season 5 or season 4 with the big cracks, like that's too big for 11. And there's some level of like her powers exist on her physical sacrifice. I think she's a goner.
I think Elle's gonna die.
Yeah, I think it's
Elle
a given.
has to die.
I think it's silly if she doesn't.
If Elle doesn't die,
the show's gonna suck.
Yeah, the show's gonna suck.
Elle better die.
I don't like. I'm not like praying on her downfall. I just think she will.
Yeah, I think it makes
like
the most
without a
sense.
doubt.
But at the same time, that's so boring. Like 11's just gonna get over it and yeah, do it. You could do it. You could close the gate, and she does it once and for all, and she dies. Like that's so like. I saw the Duffer Brothers say that like they've known the ending since day 1.
Right.
And that makes me mad because if you knew the ending since day 1, it's probably some sort of like, all right, every season we're going to have 11 do some slightly bigger feat where it's slightly more damaging to her until eventually she saves the world and dies. And like, come on, we're better than that, right? Or are we not? And maybe that's great. Maybe that's the perfect ending. To me, all right, let's look at the way season 2 progresses. There's this mystery villain. We sort of figure it out. There's sort of this like progression in the way it's like a mystery and we're figuring it out and we're solving it while still being an escalation from season 1. Season 4 is all this stuff that's just like there to create these perfect, like, all right, we're going to go to California and then there's a guy who smokes a lot of weed and works at a pizza shop, so that's perfect for when we need a freezer. Like, It seems like in season 4 they're not building a mystery, they're trying to trick you into thinking it's going to be one thing and then doing another and then doing another. Like, it's so much of like, pranked, it's actually this. Pranked, he's dead. Pranked, he's not. And it's like, why can't we go back to like, pranked, you have no clue what's going on. Like, that's so cool.
Maybe we might.
That's what I'm hoping. That's my hope.
Okay.
We could talk about Hopper.
Hopper is so important in season 2. Also, wait, before we talk about Hopper, I want to talk about Joyce. I think Winona Ryder gave her best performance in season 2.
Easily one of, if not the best actor from Stranger Things, which is like, duh, it's
Winona Ryder.
like, let's be real. But I'm super, super excited for season 5.
What is wrong with my boy?
With Winona Ryder in season 2, I loved how like she's really one of the bigger heroes. Like, she sort of takes the reins from the kids in the last couple episodes, especially in the last episode. Like, this is my kid. I'm going to save the day. Like, I think there are so many shows and movies where the mom of like the kid hero is like, oh no, I don't know what to do. I'm a dumb, useless mom. And it's like annoying. It's like, that's not how a good, like, it's like, it's so motherly to be the hero, you know what I mean? And I think it's silly how, like, a lot of times that is not explored, and I love how they let her be a hero, even, like, when they're, like, even in season 2, where it's, like, you don't want to dumb down your main characters, right? Like, you want to make them powerful, but to see her, like, stepping in front of the party and being, like, this is my son, I'm going to save the day, is, like, so awesome.
Okay, to wrap up, what is your most anticipated thing for season 5?
I mean, at the surface, I really hope it's good because I have a lot of fear. I'm a fearful person with these kind of things. I think there's like so many times where a series has like failed to end it correctly. And there's so many that can do it great. I have faith. I really hope it's good. Do you have one?
I Okay, so last episode I said I'm really excited for Joyce and Hopper's relationship.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how important of a character Max will be.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone is kind of manifesting that she's an important character, especially because we saw a little slip of like how much she's getting paid for this season. So like we wouldn't I think she's getting paid $6 million, I think. She wouldn't be getting paid that much money if she just died, you know, like at the beginning, and she just like flatlined or something while she's in the coma that she's in. I don't know if she's gonna have powers or anything. I think something's gonna happen with her being blind. I think something else in her senses might, you know, like she's gonna be able to contribute to the end in some kind of way, especially with her lack of senses.
I just want to real quick add my like little piece of what I'm most afraid of in the upcoming season, and that's the fact that our actors are so much older than they were when we first filmed. I mean, I think one of the great things about season 2 and about the early seasons is like you have these people that are 11 and 12 years old. I mean, they're not that, you know, like they're young and they're so good and they are such good actors, and the acting in this show is incredible. And so honestly, I'm excited to see who's the new people that they introduce, because I think some part of me is going to be taken out when I see Millie Bobby Brown play a 15-year-old girl married and has a kid, right? Like, I know it's kind of unfair but it is also like, get your stuff together. It's been 9 years. Like, you should have made this a long time ago. There's no other show that has ever done this before. I think it's ridiculous. Whatever. I just want to see who's the new guy they're going to introduce, who's like really going to steal the show and be the new character, because they've done really good in the past of bringing in someone new. Even if it's someone from the past, I think bringing in Steve is a great example. It's like, we just thought he was just a bully, but he became this great character, and I want to see who's that addition. Maybe it's Erica. Maybe it is Max. That's what I'm hoping to see.
Thank you so much, Thomas, for being on the podcast. It was great having you, and I think you provided like a lot of great insight and opinion and good informative stuff. So
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.